talk about the Dataverse long-term data retention capability, right? So essentially, Dataverse support a custom retention policies to securely retain unlimited data long-term in a cost-effective way. So essentially, the data in the retention storage, it will save as a compressed data, and then Microsoft will charge 50% of for those retained data, right? So essentially, for this kind of retention, you don't need to do set up any new services, right? And the data will not move out of Dataverse. It will be in a Dataverse, but it will be in the retained storage, right? So basically, this is very cost effective way. And so essentially this is the life cycle of the business application, right? So we have active data, right, which are readily available for live application, right? Then inactive data, which we normally store for compliance or audit and legal purpose, right? And these are the only the read only data. And then the third stage is the data deleted, the data which are not required, right? So those data will get deleted, right? and and these data will be available through the these different methods, right? So you can view the data of retained data using the advanced find within the application, and power automated cloud flow. And then you can also access this retained data using the Dataverse or data API for the custom screens, right? So let me go ahead and show you the demo, right? So basically, to set up this data retention policy, first step is we have to set up a retention setup on the table, right? And then we have to create a view, and then third would be we have to create a retention policy, right? So let me first go and show you how we can set up this policy for the table, right? So essentially this is the table where I want to set up the this retention policy, right? So to enable the retention policy for this table, what we need to do is we need to go to this table properties, and then we have to go to advanced option. Under the advanced there is an option called enable long term retention, right? So we have to enable this option. So I already enabled this option for this table. So let me just go ahead and cancel it. So now the second step is to set up this policy. First we have to create a view, right? And so basically if you go to this table, right, and there is a option called views, right? So here we can uh, go and see the existing views, and then we can create a views, right? So these are the different views which are already available for this table. But if we want, we can create a new view here, right? So essentially, the view is nothing but it's like creating some kind of custom filter or the custom columns which we want from that table, right? So we can define for this view, right? So we can define the sorting order, we can define the filter, and then we can also define what column we want to include for this view, right? So all these things we can define so that we can limit the data while fetching this data, right? So now the third step is we have to define the policies, right? And to create a policy, so we have to go to the policy section, and that you can find from here, right? So if you go here, discover all, and there is an option here, retention policy. Let me go here. So this is the option we have to select, right? So let's click here. All right, so it's loading the existing policies. Okay, so here I already created exist the policy for this table, but I can show you how you can create a new policy, right? So to create a new policy, you have to click on new retention policy, and here you have to select the first table name, right? So let's say if I want to set up a policy for this one, you can give name to this policy, and then you can define a criteria, right? So basically in the criteria, it is showing all the views, right? So which we have created, right? So in this scenario I want to pick this view, right? So this will when this policy will run, depending on the what configuration we have the in this view, it will get the data, right? And then also we can define when we want to start this policy, when we want to run this. And then we can also define the frequency, like we want to run once daily, monthly, weekly, right? All these things we can define, right? So since I already set up this policy, I will not go and create this policy. So let me go ahead and cancel it. So let's review this policy, right? So if I go here, I can see this policy ran 3 4 times, right? So these are the different IDs, and then we can see what is the status of the policy, when it is started, when it is completed, right? And I think we can go and see the additional detail, right? So basically, in this case, there is no data movement, right? There is no data return, but I think let's see the old history here. So it is started on 20. So on the 26th, also no returned. And let's see here. Okay, so in this case, I think when it moved the 47 records, right, from the parent table, right, and after that, I think looks like there is no data in this table. So you can see when this is running every day, I think it is not moving any data because there are no new data in the this table, right? So this is how we can set up this retention policy. Now the next thing is, now we want to view this data, right? So to view this data, there are two options, right? One, actually, we can create a power flow and then export this data into the Excel, right? Second option is we can use the Microsoft Fabric, right, where we can go and view this data or connect this data to the Power BI, right? So let me first show you how we can export this data through the Power Flow. So so to use this export this data in Powerflow, what we need to do is we have to use this perform a background operation, Dataverse operation, and then we have to select Microsoft Dataverse catalog, right? And then we have to select the category, right? So there are different categories here, but here we are interested only the written data, and then we have to select the what we want to do operation here. So we want to create action from the written data, and then we can define the fetch XML about the schema, right? And then we can also define the layout, right? So this is how we can export this data, written data to into the Excel, right? The second option is using the Microsoft Fabric, right? So basically, I have already linked this Fabric to the this Dataverse environment, but I can show you how you can go to this Microsoft Fabric. So in the tables, right, there is option. If you go to analyze, there is option called link to Microsoft Fabric. Once you click, and since I already linked it, so it will redirect me to this Fabric, right? And in the Fabric, we can go to this specific table, right? And in this table, we can see a lot of data here, but you can validate the data whether it is retained or not by checking this flag, right? So ms underscore data score, it indicate that whether it is retained data or it is a active data, right? So wherever you see one, it means this data is retained,